Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at Austria, the Red Bull Ring, for round 1, the practice race for season 1 of the Oceania Racing League. First car out on track today looks to be J-Man in the Aston Martin. It's gone out in softs on this outlap. There's 5 cars out on track at the moment. Those cars will be J-Man, or 6 now, Foxtrot, Skits, Daniel, and also this army in the house. Most drivers are out on track now. It looks like Skits is coming around to start his flying lap. It's his first flying lap of qualifying here. Short qualifying. And someone's out. It's an Alfa Romeo. Had to crash at turn 1, I think. Have another look at that soon, but I'm going to commentate Skits' lap. Coming down to the run to turn 3, you want to brake nice hard on the brakes, get a good exit out of there. And you get DRS all the way down straight here. It's not activating it for some reason though. And then, nice corner there, turn 4. Nice weaving braking. And then you're going to come around the double left-hander. 6 and 7, and from here you've just got 3 corners to go. Corner, turn 8, just navigates there. It's going around. Oh, and that's a lap DSQ'd. I think just cut the corner, turn 9 there. Just went a bit wide as well. And the strict corner cutting might be catching some people out around Red Bull Ring. Can be tricky with track limits, and we have another off. That looks like Jules Daniel in the Ferrari. Looks like it's going to keep running. Does he have any front wing damage? We'll see. Looks like he's lost a left end plate there. Lost left end plate. So he'll probably have to box for that one. And now we're under 15 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Just one short qualifying session here to determine the grid for the race. And we've still got a couple more people to set their laps. But I think we're going to go on board with Alpha Foxtrot now. We're joining midway through the lap at turn 4 now. Gets a decent exit, not quite pushing the car all the way to the outside of the curb. Still a decent corner. Goes a tad wide round 6. How can he take turn 7? Really good round there. As Ice Rhino sets a new fastest lap, and Foxtrot's actually coming into the pits now. Maybe for a new set of tyres. I'm going to look over the timings now. So currently P1, Ice Iron Rhino with a 105.9. P2, just over a tenth off is J-Man in an Aston Martin. From there you've got Foxtrot, Boy Luke in McLaren, and Dr. Army in P5. After that you got the Red Bull with Skits, Daniel in the Ferrari, Boney Lingard. It's P8, so that rounds out the people who are still going in the session. There's only 2 people out of the track currently, and one of them is the Haas. Dr. Aim died. Looks like Lindsay Games has joined, so we'll have 10 people for this practice race. For the normal season there should be 20 in Division 1 and Division 2, but we haven't got quite that many in the practice race. Alright, and Amy is coming into the pits now, looks like. Skits has DSQ'd his lap somewhere in that first sector or 2. But now we're going to be on board with Jules Daniel as they go for their first lap on this fresh pair of rubber, the soft tyre. I think we're just right on board for most of this lap. Oh, what's happening there? Staying in gear 3 for quite a while there. Might cost him a couple of hundredths or potentially tenths. That's a bit of a wobble on the exit of 4, and that could cost him some time as it will affect his straight line speed. Just 2 corners to go now. How well can he navigate these last 2 corners? He's using all of the track there. Really good stuff here. Really good lap. Could be good enough for P1, and it is. Looks like a really good lap. And he's gone P1 by 2 tenths, so quite the margin compared to all the others. The only other person currently on the lap is J-Man in Aston Martin. So he's going through sector 1 now, coming up to turn 3. Next of 3 he's going to get DRS open. And the long run down that back straight to turn 4. Which is a decent braking zone. You have to turn in as well, just goes a bit wide, doesn't quite get the curb. And then we've got a small little run down to turn 6. Double left-hander, 6 of 7. Quite satisfying, fast flowing corners. Then you've got turn 8, flat out corner. And then the penultimate corner, turn 9. Can catch you off guard if you're not locking in. It has caught J-Man off guard. Had his lap times been DSQ'd, just cut that corner a bit. And that's lap time gone. He'll have to go for another lap if he wants to fight for pole position today. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good battle for pole here, as the top 6 are separated by only a second. But so far right now, Jules Daniel has gotten the fastest lap, currently boxed to get another set of tyres, we presume. Looking on board, Ice Rhino, he's setting another lap. Can he go faster than Daniel? He does, by 3 tenths almost. That's a cracking lap to improve by 3 tenths. And he's on provisional pole now. You're looking for anyone else going for a lap. J-Man's boxing, going for a brand spanking new set of softs, hopefully. Jules Amy is currently coming around 9 and 10, round sector 3, end of the lap. Can he improve on his lap time? Gets a really nice exit out of turn 10 there, but not quite pushing it. And doesn't improve. Maybe that was an outlap, but I think that was an outlap. But he goes wide into on the edge of the Niki Lauda turn there. And don't know how he hasn't been disqualified for that one. He's still going though. Decent corner through 3. Going down to the back straight now. DRS will be open. Then you brake at 100 meters or 75. And you get that car turning nice and early. So you can stamp on the throttle for the acceleration out of 4. Goes a tad wide through turn 7, but it's a good corner through 8. Can he string the final bit of the lap together? Nice on turn 9 there. Round turn 10. What's it going to be for him? It's going to be a 107.1, so 3/10 down on his original lap time. Stays P6. And currently, it looks like the only person who might be going for a lap is Skits, although I do think he's probably going for an in-lap. The way he's swerving around and his ERS is gone. Someone spun Bulls Daniel. It's his second spin this quali session. Got to be going on his flying lap and actually second time spinning at turn 1, Niki Lauda curb. You do get a bit too throttle happy, get on the throttle too early, you can spin really easily there. So, I wonder if he's going to go for another lap on these set of softs, or if he's going to go into the pits and see if he's got another set. I don't know if they would. I think they might have 3 sets and a set of mediums for qualifying. But you have to remember, think about the strategy and the tyre wear when you start the race. Gonna run on board with J-Man here for this end of the outlap. Now he's gonna set up the flying lap. It's decent. It's a really good exit actually out of turn 10. Should give him a nice run all the way down to turn 1. He's pushing the car through there. He's going a really, really long run here to turn 3. And then you're straight back into a really long straight. So it's 3 DRS zones in a row around Austria. So you get straight line speed of your car must be good. You want to have not the lowest downforce setup. Otherwise you will suffer on those long straights. Now he's coming through turn 6 and 7. Can he get a string these corners well? Good, and it's actually a purple sector 2. So he's been looking really strong here. How close will his lap be to Ice Rhino, who's in P1 currently? I only will see. Here he goes across the line. It's a new fastest lap by 90 milliseconds. Really good lap there. Turn 2 and sector 2 and 3 were really good there. And Ice Rhino struck back with a 105.4. He ups J-Man's time by 2/10. So that's really good stuff from him. Under 3 minutes to go in the session now, so I think everyone will be coming out of the pits now to go for a final lap. And now we're getting to the business end of qualifying. Gonna see who will win. Who's gonna get pole position? I think at the moment it's looking like it's gonna be a 3-way battle between Ice Rhino, J-Man and Duels Daniel. Duels Daniel is currently in the pits though, as well as J-Man. So they might go for a fresh set of rubber, as well as Ice Iron Rhino, who's also going to be following J-Man into the pits for a fresh set of rubber. But can they get out fast enough actually? Might be. I don't know if they'll get out quick enough. The pit crews will have to work pretty fast, as that run down the pit lane might take a while. Nevertheless, Duels Daniel's coming out. I think the boy Luke looks to be on a flying lap now. Coming around 7 and 8, look like really good corners. He's actually 10th or so up on his time around penultimate corner. It's a really good corner, pushing the limits, just one corner to go now. Almost runs a bit wide and gets a bit of oversteer on the exit. What can he do? He's improved on his time by 2/10, but that's not quite enough to move him up a place. There's a yellow flag. It looks like maybe Duels Daniel is just going slowly to warm his tyres up. But will J-Man and Rhino get out? Doesn't look like Rhino's actually going for another lap. Actually he is, but I don't think he'll get out in time to start on lap. And I don't think J-Man will either. So it looks like the people that will have a last lap is Duels Daniel, and really only Amy, and I don't think anyone else will be able to finish a lap. Anyway, we're going to ride on board with Daniel. He is the one that will probably be the one that could transfer pole out of the people who are currently on flying laps. Passes Red Bull, who slowed down to let him pass, as the Red Bull hasn't gone to the finish line on time. And I wonder how many people are on fires. It looks like the only people that got through are Duels Daniel and Dr. Amy died. So this is going to be his final attempt coming to the line now. Yeah, it's a bit wide on the exit, and he's not got his time deleted. He's also gone wide again on the exit, and that time, second time unlucky, he's got his lap time deleted there. It's bad luck for Daniel on the exit, on the end of qualifying, and he's going to have to settle for P3. And it looks like the half has also DSQ'd their lap, so that's also going to be game over for them. And that should be qualifying done. For some reason it hasn't ended because it looks like Skits hasn't completed a lap. So it must be a glitch. Might have to wait 1 minute and 30 here then. But that looks like the grid order. Oh, there we go. That's done. And Ice Iron Rhino get P1. He's going to be lining up right from the front of the grid in Austria. So run through the grid now. Ice Iron Rhino is going to be P1 for this Austrian Grand Prix with a 105.4. Just behind him was J-Man, who was also on the pace pretty much the whole qualifying, just 2/10 behind. One more 10th behind that, Duels Daniel. Behind him, Alpha Foxtrot. P5, the boy Luke. P6, Dr. Amy died. P7, Iso Skits, Boney Lingard, and Benjinold. DNF knows outlap, so I'm going to see what happened. And also, Lindsay Games joined halfway through this qualifying session, so they'll be starting P10 from the back. It'll be interesting to see what they can do. Right, everyone's on the grid now. They'll be choosing their setups and their strategies for the race. It's 18 laps around Austria, so we'll see the pit window, but there'll be one formation lap, and then we'll be into the race for 18 laps. Yeah, so you get the predicted strats there. Here we go on the formation lap. We'll look for some telemetry to do. And that's interesting. Everybody except P1 Ice Iron Rhino starting on the mediums. Looked like the predicted strategy was either hards to mediums or mediums to hards, as tyre deg round Austria can get quite high, as Max Verstappen found here just a week prior. But how good is Ice Iron Rhino at tyre management? We're going to find out. Going for a bit of a bold strategy, I think, there. Maybe softs to hards or soft to mediums. Can he make it work? Everyone looks to be going from mediums to hards, I think. Interesting strategies happening, and it looks like Boney Lingard's opted to start it on the hards. So, probably going to push for a longer first stint. Maybe go for an overcut to get through some traffic. So the grid's going to form up now behind Ice Iron Rhino. It's a manual grid form up, and also manual pitting. So a bit more skill is required this year compared to last year in the grid form up. And it looks like Ice Iron Rhino has gotten a decent thing there. Gonna wait for the lights now. Looks like Boney Lingard got disqualified. Don't know what's happened there. Maybe just tapped someone in that formation lap or ran over the grid slot. So it might take a second to reset that. Just wondering why the race isn't starting. What's happening with Lingard? Looks like he's on the grid, but I don't know why he hasn't started. Also on the grid, it looks like the boy Luke has had a pretty aggressive thing, and I don't know if it's actually going to start. We might have to leave and start again. We might have to actually leave and start again if it isn't going to work. Alright, we gotta leave. Start again. Alright guys, we gotta leave and start again. Alright, I'll just invite everyone back. It should probably be 30 seconds or a minute, and we'll get back underway. I can edit the grid so we don't have to do qualifying again. But it seems like Ben or someone lined up 0-0, and I think for some reason that disqualified him, and that must have stopped some people from must have glitched the game or something. Yeah, well, there's always bugs in F1. So that must be one of the new bugs in the game. Hopefully Cody's gets onto that. Alright, I'll make the new lobby and invite everyone. That's annoying. Alright, invites are out now. Don't ready up just yet, guys. It's gotta be 1 minute. I gotta do all these assists again. Wait, no, turn that one on. Alright, I think that should be good. I just gotta do the grid. I wrote it down, so we'll start again with that same grid. Alright. That looks good. Let me check. Double check that. Don't want that to be wrong. Alright, I think we are good to go. Alright. Let's go. We're ready. It's just like the real Austrian Grand Prix. Had to get a second formation lap, second by the cherry. Hopefully this time it's gonna work. Everyone's just got to select the setups and strategies again, which is a bit annoying, but that's just how it is. Alright. We're on the grid now. Should be formation map. Okay, there we go. Back on the formation map. And interestingly, some people have changed their strategy. Bonnie Lingard, who was starting on the hards on that formation map, now starting on the mediums. And Skids, who was starting on the mediums, now starting on the hards. Lindsay, who was starting on the mediums, has gone to start on the softs. Bit of a gamble, as they're starting from the back of the grid. And Rhino, who was also starting on the softs, he's now switched to the mediums. So, yeah, a couple of different strategies going on. We'll see if any of them pay off. And we'll see which ones do and which ones don't. But whether they do or don't, make sure to stay here, watching the Oceania Racing League. The first practice race of Season 1. And it's just going to get underway in a minute or so. Cars are just going to navigate 2 corners and then form up on the grid. And then it'll be 5 lights and we'll be underway. Everyone's swerving there, getting temps into the tyre. Because if those tyres don't warm up enough, they'll be stone cold for the start. Which might make it a lot easier to spin. As I think Daniel might have had some contact with Foxtrot behind him, as trying to get some temp to the tyres. Nevertheless, we should get underway now. And Skid's been DSQ'd. And so is Lingard. Hopefully it doesn't glitch again. Alright, I'll wait like 10 seconds and then leave if it doesn't work. And I'm just going to turn formation lap off. Alright, I'm leaving. Gotta go again. Anyway, also, after the stream, I'm gonna turn the highlights, best moments of the race, and qualifying into a highlights video that'll also be on the YouTube channel. So make sure to stay tuned for that one. And next week, after this race, after the practice race, it's gonna be the first round of Oceania Racing League. And it's gonna be Australia first race. Which will also be a sprint race, so that should spice things up. I think I got everyone there. Here we go. And also this time, make sure to select the team you want to drive for, or that you were in before. Some people didn't get their team on that one. Yeah, I'm just going to turn formation off this time, so we don't get any more of those glitches with it not starting. Everything else looks pretty good. Oh, assist restrictions. Turn these off. Everyone make sure to join back now. That should work. Alright, join up. I turned formation lap off, so we'll definitely start this time. Make sure to select the team. Just need 2 more people to join, and then we'll be right to go. And this time, it'll work, hopefully. One more person just needs to join, and it'll be all good. Alright. Just don't ready up yet, we still got, I think Luke still needs to join. Just gonna go over the settings, check we're ready. Well, looks like we lost Luke then. Alright. He's gone. Alright, I reckon then we'll just start without him. Let's go. Ready up. Oh, and Daniel, make sure you select Ferrari. You don't have it selected yet. You gotta select Ferrari. Can I put you in Ferrari? Oh. Oh, I forgot to do grid. My bad. Oh, I forgot to do grid. Should we just go for it from here, or do custom grid? We might need to do custom grid. This race it's only a practice race, but it's kind of scuffed already. I reckon we should just go. Even though the grid's, I don't know what the grid would be set to. It might be set to realistic. Alright. It's gonna be 5 red lights here at Austria. And slides out and away we go. Who gets a good start? Skids gets a great start and he's already into the lead before turn 1. Team out, Alpha Foxtrot's catching up on the... As a huge dive bomb from Lingard punts Foxtrot off the track, and Foxtrot just lost 3 positions. It's going to be almost 3 wide as the Haas And Dr. X Amy has died. And the second spin, Benjinold has also gone off. So a couple of incidents here on that one. I'm just going to look for some damage. Looks like both cars are unharmed, so they will be able to carry on. Lindsay just gets past Benji's teammate Ice Rhino, who should be on pole but isn't. And Ice Rhino's gonna, looks like he was going, and he's boxing. Wonder what's happening there. Three people are actually boxing. I think they're gonna go for an undercut, go to hards, and Dr. X Amy's got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Decent stop there, and McLaren are double stacking. So we see the pit stop prediction. Again, just look for what tyres people are on. Most people are going to go mediums to softs, I think, but the bottom three are going for a one-stop, mediums to hards, and goes wide there. Does Foxtrot in the Red Bull. Looks like a snap of oversteer and had to correct it. Just went wide and lost 2 places there, down to P6. Out front now, Skits, who was in the lead from corner 1, set a new fastest lap of the race, which does get beaten by Lindsay in P5, who looks to be playing some real pace as they go wide through turn 1, and they spin, gets on the throttle too early, and the car just snaps really violently away from Lindsay. It was really looking good there, I think, in P4, being pressured by those cars behind. They gone, and Duels Daniel got past our leader Skits there on inside of turn 3, I think, but he's not out of the woods yet. Skits is behind him, as he's gonna stick with him because DRS has been enabled this lap, so if Skits can stick with him till that final corner, he'll get 3 DRS zones in a row, and Boney Lingard's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings and exceeding track limits. As does Duels Daniel, who is out front in the Mercedes. Looks strong in qualifying, and he set a fastest lap now. But Skits is behind him, and he's got to defend from him for 3 DRS zones. He's defended from him for 1, and he looks like he'll stay ahead for the second one. But who's going to get a better run out of turn 3 now? Looks like Skits is much closer, and he just loses time in the exit. It's a poor exit, but Lingard's now defending from J-Man. They've switched corners a couple of times. J-Man thinking about the move there, but doesn't quite want to send it there. Which is a good decision, I think. Just closing up on Lingard ahead. Looks like he's got a bit more pace than Lingard, who also has a time penalty. And I'll just check for time penalties. So I think Ben Junord and Dr. Amy Bide have gotten penalties for speeding in the pit lane. And a couple others have got exceeding track limits penalties. J-Man's going to go round the outside of Lingard. Who's going to brake later? Lingard gets tapped, gets his back right wheel clipped, and that's front wing damage for Lingard as well, I think. Who's going to now have to defend from Alpha Foxtrot, who got spun round or tapped wide before, and sticks behind him, does Alpha Foxtrot. And both of these guys have 3-second penalties, so I wonder how that's going to affect them in this race. His Foxtrot doesn't look to be quite far enough. He's Just going to stick behind him. And that's a time penalty for Skits. Now that all of the top 4 have penalties on lap 5 of this race. And just going to run through the order now. There's Daniel in the Mercedes out front. Skits in the Red Bull P2. Boney Lingard in P3 doing a decent job for Williams. And Alpha Foxtrot's got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane as he comes in for his stop. Bit of an early stop there, considering he's on hard tyres, but I think he did lose some front wing and he's going to need a box. Will he carry the mediums all the way to the end though? That's going to be the question. Pitting this early and going on to mediums. You could see some high tyre deg right at the end. And is he going to make it out in front of Ice Rhino? No, he's not, so he's going to get jumped by the McLaren. And he also got picked up a 5-second time penalty to go along with that. So, just real rod and lock for him. He's going to be rejoining P6. But I wonder how that penalty will affect him. Now look who's stopped and who hasn't now. So the top 4 look to be the ones that have made it through these opening laps undamaged, and the bottom 5 have got damage and have had to pit for new tyres. So the question now is, can Skitch catch Daniel? And that's yellow flag, and it looks like Dr. Amy is spun maybe on the exit of turn 7. Can be a tricky corner. Sometimes you can spin there if you're not careful, if you let your guard down. So now they were in P8, so they're going to drop a place. So that as I say this, Oni Lingard has gotten another 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, and they're going to come in for their stop now. I think that's a bit of an undercut, stopping quite early, and they're going losing a lot of time on the pin entry here. They were super early for it, not wanting to get a time penalty there. What can the pit crew do down at Williams? Tyres go off. Tyres go on, that's a really good stop. Where will Lingard rejoin the track? Looks like they're going to rejoin behind Foxtrot. Will it be behind Lindsay? Foxtrot overtakes them. Will Lindsay overtake him? It'll be on stone cold tyres. So I wonder if Lindsay will catch them before the next lap. As Lingard goes wide yet again. And can Lindsay gain on Lingard? Oh, it's a lock up from them into turn 4. It's really tricky to not lock up sometimes if you have the ABS off. It looks like all the leaders are still staying out, so they're pushing their stints a bit longer than Lingard did. Just check what tyres they're on. That actually might be because they're on mediums, which they are. So they'll be going maybe into the 10th or 11th lap because they're trying to get an alternate strategy. And they'll be looking to push those cars hard right at the end of this race. And is he just falling back from Lingard? Don't know if they'll be able to catch him. Lingard goes wide again at turn 3. That's 2 laps in a row now. Is he struggling to find his braking point? J-Man finally gets a penalty, as he's one of the few who hasn't gotten one in this race so far. But now he's going to join the club of 7 people who have gotten the penalty. The leaders are going to stay out again. Jules Daniel has opened up a pretty big gap out in front. Skits was at one point, a couple of laps ago, about 1.5 seconds behind. But Daniel's doubled that gap ahead and he's built a comfortable lead over Skits. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the pit window, how that'll mix things up. And they're going to stay out again for another lap. I'm going to run down the current grid now. So we've got Jules Daniel, Skids and J-Man, who are the only 3 who haven't made a pit stop. All the other grid, Ice Rhino, Alpha Foxtrot, Boney Lingard, Lindsay Games, Ben Ginold, and Dr. Army have all made a stop. And Dr. X Army died. Is coming for their second stop of this race. Looks pretty clean on it. They're actually retiring from the race. So maybe they don't see a point in going on. And the P2 ISO Skids has gone for a bit of an undercut on Jules Daniel. And J-Man has gotten a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Maybe getting caught out by pit assist being turned off. But ISO Skids, you're going to have to put out a stonking out lap if he wants to get anywhere near Jules Daniel. So we see Dr. X Army is pulling over the side of the road, and I wonder if that'll be... Looks like the marshals have got that cleared up in time, so it won't be a safety car. If it was a safety car, that would have just completely messed J-Man and Skits' race. It would have been quite unfortunate there. And it looks like Daniel's going to stay out for another lap, actually. So pushing really hard in the stint. I think there might be... I think there's still some light in this tyre. J-Man looks to be right on the back of Boney Lingard now. Going through turn 8 now. Coming down to the penultimate corner. Should have to stay behind. J-Man looked to be a bit faster for as he's caught up. And he's got DRS now. Down the long first straight. Into the braking zone. Turn 1. Going to get the gas down really hard. And he's caught up. He's got a great exit compared to Lingard. Lingard swerving all over the place, trying to block him into the braking zone. Going side by side. Lingard not budging, and he almost clips him and goes round. Don't know how no one went round there. Neither of them willing to concede. And Jules Daniel's now in the pits. Just wonder if how he's going to go. And J-Man does a bit of a drift. Don't know if he got clipped there. I presume he did. But he's done a bit of a Tokyo drift there on the curb of turn 4. That's lost him time. And the gap now is about 1 second to the car in front of him. And we're going to look now to see where Jules Daniel's going to join. And he does rejoin ahead of Skits, who stays 3 seconds behind him. I'm going to check the penalties again now. So, only 2 people don't have penalties. Iron Ice Rhino and Lindsay Games. So they look to be having clean race in terms of getting penalties. But I think both of them had incidents on the first lap. I don't believe it was any of their faults, but I'll have to look back at that after the race. J-Man's actually caught up to Lindsay and goes round the outside of at turn 4 and looked like a real nice move. We didn't catch it in time though. Looks like the faster driver. Tony Lingard was defending furiously, but in the end he's had to concede the place and goes a bit wide there around turn 9. Don't know if he'll be able to catch up. Goes wide again, and Lindsay finally gets a time penalty in this race. Lingard's within 1 second now, can get DRS. He's caught up 6/10 on this lap. How much can he catch up down the straight? Loses a bit of time in the exit. That will cost him. I don't know if he'll be able to overtake here, but if he can stick behind J-Man for next lap, he could have a pretty good chance of getting an overtake done. Jules Daniels, there's a new fast lap of the race. It's a 106.4. Fastest pole time around here was a 105.4. So that's pretty good pace compared to his quali time. Tony Lingard goes wide round turn 9. It's dropped back another 6/10 or so he isn't in the DRS. But he goes really wide there, and he gets another 3-second time penalty. That time, so he's up to 12 seconds of time penalties. 4 exceeding track limits penalties. Most people have gotten 1, so that might affect him. Because as it stands now, he's in P7 with those penalties. And now someone's boxing. Benjamin showing around. And almost, he might be getting lapped here by Jules Daniel. They're right on board with Daniel, and the blue flags are out, and he's got past him. Blue flag. And Benjamin has been lapped. First car in this race to be lapped. Done lap 17. So I've got 2 more laps to go in this race. Iron Ice Rhino gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Multiple warnings. Currently, Benjamin is the only one out on track to not get a time penalty. Maybe actually serving it in that stop. So as it stands, the order is Jules Daniel, ISO Skits, P2, Iron Ice Rhino, P3, Alpha Foxtrot, P4, J-Man P5, Lonely Lingard P6, Lindsay Games P7, who's just spun now, he's in the barriers, and that's full front wing gone for Lindsay. Just gets a bit too throttle happy on the exit of turn 4, and lucky to not have one of those front wheels clipped off in that clunk with the barriers. They're not gonna have to box because there's only 1 lap to go, so they should stay out. Doesn't look like anyone's quite close enough to overtake. So will they stay out? Actually, yeah, they will. Good decision there. There's just 1 more lap to go, and for this man up front, Jules Daniel, it's going to be only half a lap. Benjamin's actually closing the gap up quite a lot. Behind him, looking to unlap himself maybe. As he might be doing now, he's unlapping himself as they come around the final corner. It won't really matter though, as Jules Daniels put in really impressive performance on all weekend. He comes home to take P1 in the practice race here at the Red Bull Ring. P2 goes to ISO Skids, who's done a great race. I believe started P4, 3, and he's got up a couple of places. P3 goes to Ice Iron Rhino. P4 is Skids' teammate, Alpha Foxtrot. Gets 5 seconds added to his time for that unsurfed penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So does J-Man. Comes home to finish P6. Bonnie Lingard is going to come home to finish P6. And Lindsay Games had a bit of an unfortunate race. Had an incident on turn 1, I think. But they're going to claim a couple of points, and they'll be P7. And the final driver to come round is Benjanold. In the McLaren goes wide there. And they're going to be the only driver to finish the race without a penalty. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That has been the practice race for Season 1 of the Oceania Racing League. Make sure to tune in next week as we're going to get round 1 underway for Div 1 and Div 2. It's going to be Australia and it's going to be a sprint race. Should be less scuffed with those restarts. But there will be a highlight video for this race. And that'll be on the channel probably a couple of days time. So you see Jules Daniel coming out to claim his well-deserved P1 trophy. Also on the podium we have Fox, no, Skits, and it was a McLaren. So it's a great race from these fellas. They shower each other with champagne. 2 Australians on the podium. Good drive from the both of them. Look down the race director in case we need any proof for warnings. If anyone wants to dispute any incidents, crashes, you can send a clip of your footage in the dispute channel in the Discord. And if anyone wants to join in on the action, make sure to join our Discord, which is, I think it's on the channel. Alright. Might do some open lobbies if anyone wants to stick around. But for now, that's been the practice race of the Austrian Grand Prix. Thank you everyone. And that's it.